You've waited long enough. It's time for part 2 of my reaction to the 50 most iconic dishes of America by each state. I'm gonna go right into it. Alright, so resuming, picking up where we left off with Montana, which is huckleberry ice cream. And, I mean, I know my berries, but I couldn't tell you what a huckleberry tastes like. And actually, the huckleberry ice cream, it's not just any huckleberry ice cream, it's a specific one from a company called Wilcoxon's, in Montana. It's huge in Montana. I can't really say that I've been to Montana. I mean, technically I have been in Montana, but we were going on a road trip, you know, in kind of that area, and we just decided to dip our toes into Montana, which, what I saw of it, I liked, but we never got a chance to have some huckleberry ice cream. Moving on to Nebraska with the Tin Roof Sundae, and, I'm not sure I know what to think of this one, guys. It looks amazing, but I mean, this picture, I mean, it looks really messy. I mean, it's probably just that picture, but I mean, I'd get some Tin Roof Sundaes. I from what it looks like, there's like peanuts and caramel sauce, and like I said in the first video, I'm not a huge nut guy, but you know, peanut and cashew are like, you know, the good nuts, that in my opinion. And on Sundays, heck yeah, it looks great. Let's take a trip down to Nevada with the 3 a.m. steak and eggs. Now, this looks like something from a diner, and to me, this makes sense, because, you know, Nevada is like, well, I mean, there's Las Vegas, which is gambling, but, you know, there's a lot of gambling in Nevada, and there's that for, I think somehow that might correlate to a lot of heavy drinking, so I can just picture, because, like, 3 a.m., the only people at a diner at 3 a.m. are people that have been partying and drinking and gambling all night. But I mean, this steak and eggs, it's got the whole shebang, you know. It's got that nice, you know, it's not a huge steak. It's like almost like a tiny, like I guess like a like a New York strip. I love New York strip. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. And then you got the fried eggs, that nice looking toast, and I think those are those home fries? I forget what they're called, but it's like the potato wedges that you can get at like hotels. Next we go back to the east with New Hampshire's poutine. Now, poutine is very Canadian. It's a huge Canadian thing, and you know, I haven't had a lot of poutine really. If you've been watching my channel since the beginning, and wow, I feel like I'm saying that a lot recently, but if you have been watching my channel since the beginning and you've seen the video where I went to Wisconsin for that, it was like a 5K, the cancer walk to end cancer, Road America thing. The night before we did that, we ate at a restaurant, and I had, it was like a poutine, but it was like with tater tots, and that was really good. So I'm a huge poutine fan. It's just perfect, you know, imagine the fries and gravy and cheese curds. I mean, what's not to love? And then New Jersey with disco fries, a very similar dish. Okay, so if anyone knows, could they comment below what the exact difference is between poutine and disco fries? Because I would love to know. I'm looking at the picture right now, and it looks like disco fries doesn't have any cheese curds, and maybe instead it's like melted cheese. And ultimately, my first impression, I mean, obviously it still looks delicious, but I think it might be a little bit it might be less messy, which is ironic because it still looks really messy, but poutine is very messy to begin with. Once again, we head down south to New Mexico with the Frito pie, which, looking at it, it's like a taco salad, except instead of like the taco bowl, it's Fritos. Now, I mean, I love salad, and I love, you know, the taco salad with the, you know, it looks like the tomato, like the pico de gallo, and the lettuce. It looks great. Now, here's the thing is, in my opinion, there's like a line in the sand between potato chips and tortilla chips. And I love potato chips, and I really don't like tortilla chips. And I also, for that same reason, I'm not a huge fan of Fritos. I rarely have Fritos. I still think it would be great. I'm just saying there are some things in this that, like, kind of are a turnoff. I just am not a huge Fritos person. And then we have New York, New York. What a heck of a state. Well, and a city, too. But New York, it's the buffalo wings, which, I mean, I don't know. I guess I might have been thinking, like, maybe, like, a New York-style pizza would be this, especially because, really, the heart of New York is New York itself, New York City. I'm not sure how much buffalo wings correlate to New York City, because buffalo wings were invented in Buffalo, which is not New York. At least I think. I think it's, like, it's farther away. Maybe it's, like, farther north. But, I mean, I love buffalo wings. You know, I like them all types, boneless, bone-in. This is kind of, like, honestly, I think this one itself embodies, like, all of the country, because you can really get, like, buffalo wings anywhere. Like, every single bar serves them. You got Buffalo Wild Wings, which is a great chain that literally has wings in the title, and buffalo, I guess. So I think we might have found, like, the one that, like, applies to every state. Barbecue's back, baby! North Carolina is Lexington-style barbecue. Really, the beautiful thing about barbecue is every single state has its own rendition of it, and we've kind of already I've already kind of showcased that in this video alone. But Lexington-style barbecue is very different. The picture explains it best. It's basically, well, hold on. We should talk about, there's got a certain sauce, too, because it's more tangy and vinegar-based. But then it's traditional to see the barbecue and, like, the pulled meat over, like, a slice of bread. And I've had this before, at least something close to it. And we call it, well, there's also, like, chipped ham. Some people, like, in the military would call it obscenity on a shingle. But I like it. I mean, I just love all barbecue, man. North Dakota. Now, I've been to both of the Dakotas before, and I definitely have some memorable eating experiences, but my biggest regret is that I never really ate, while I was there, I never really ate anything that people, oh yeah, that totally has something to do with North Dakota. And cheese buttons. Okay, so it must be like a colloquial something, because that must be like what North Dakotans call this, because I'm pretty sure everywhere else they call this pierogies, and I love pierogies. You know, it's just like it's basically like ravioli with mashed potatoes. But the thing is, I have a hunch that this is maybe a little bit different than pierogies. I mean, there's got cheese in the name, and I'm not exactly, it's been a while since I've had a pierogi, so I don't remember exactly how prevalent cheese is in pierogies. I always imagined it as just mashed potatoes. But, I mean, hey, it looks good. If I go back to North Dakota, I would definitely try it. Ohio's got Cincinnati chili or Skyline chili, depending on how you want to call it. This is another thing that everybody knows about, whether you like it or not. And let's just say that, one night, a bowl of spaghetti and a cup of chili got very stupid and both fell into a genetic merging machine and merged their food DNA together to turn into, like, some mutant food. This is what the outcome would be. It's very easy to follow. You just take pasta, chili, cheese. It's basically, when you think about it, like loaded spaghetti, but you know, my mouth is watering looking at this picture. I mean, somebody had to claim it, and Oklahoma, it's your lucky day. Steak. Now, here's the interesting thing, is almost everything else on this list was very specific. It was like its own dish. The thing about steak is, it's almost like as if Oklahoma said that their most iconic dish is beef, because really, you could make, you can make a steak out of all these different cuts of the beef. And in this picture right here is a T-bone, and I've never had a T-bone before. I think I need to broaden my steak horizon, because I think the only cuts I've ever had are like New York strip, filet mignon, and porterhouse. I mean, not a whole porterhouse; those things are massive. But I mean, I love steak. I don't think I've met anyone that doesn't love steak, and if I do, I probably wouldn't trust them. Oregon with the Marionberry pie. Oh my gosh. Up until the first time I visited this page with all this information, I didn't know that I had no idea that a Marionberry even existed. I mean, when the Oregon Trail and all of that happened, Manifest Destiny, there must have been a lot of berry nerds that ended up in Oregon, because they're just pulling out all of these. I can't keep track. I'm looking at the pie and it looks like blueberry maybe, but more and more pies in America have become an art form, and you need to try this. It's got huckleberry, or you need to try this. It's got Marionberry, and I don't know. I love all pies, so I don't care. Come on, did anyone really have to think about this one? Pennsylvania, the Philly cheesesteak. Now, some people could argue that maybe the pierogi or like a cabbage roll should have been it, because there are two sides of this Pennsylvania debacle. You got, because I think it was in like the Industrial Revolution, when like a bunch of people were immigrating to America. There were a lot of Polish people that immigrated to Pittsburgh, and so you got like one line in the sand with like, a bunch of people from Pittsburgh are like, hey, why isn't the pierogi or the cabbage roll the most iconic dish of Pennsylvania? And then everyone else on Philadelphia is like, what about the cheesesteak? And I have no idea what it comes down to. Maybe it's because the pierogi came from another country, whereas it would be a little bit harder to trace back where the Philly cheesesteak originated from. But at the end of the day, every food possible in America, even the most Americanist foods, and I know that's not a word, but even the most American foods you could think of came from a different country. Yeah, I'm not even going to use examples because it's just obvious. I legit feel bad for Rhode Island. Coffee milk. Well, the question of the day, ladies and gents, is what is coffee milk? And I'm going to be honest, I don't know. So I would fail trying to give any insight to it. I'm just going to read what the Food Network said, because I've already cited them as my reputable source. So take Food Network's word for it on this one. Nearly 100 years old, coffee milk is so iconic here that it became the official state drink in 1993, they say. It's basically coffee and sugar syrup, and it's spun with frosty milk for an ice cream-free riff on a milkshake that's as addictive as it is simple. There's your answer, ladies and gentlemen. And it sounds good, but no one's heard of coffee milk. Nobody. The people from Rhode Island have. The people close to states, the people in states close to Rhode Island may have. But, I've never heard of coffee milk. And while we're on this subject, I feel kind of bad for Rhode Island, because, Rhode Island's cool. Family Guy takes place in there, for just one example. But, Rhode Island is, it's so petite. It's, and I'm really holding out for Rhode Island. I try not to get political, even remotely political on this channel. But there are people that are trying to get Washington, D.C. to become the 51st U.S. state. And, that's a good thing for Rhode Island, because they no longer have to be pegged as the smallest state in the country. Or maybe they're proud of that. I don't know. This is no he crab soup. This is she crab soup. Multiply that. Carry the 3. Alright, Zorba, you just used up your last dad joke. I'm afraid to tell you you can't use another one for another 5 years. Oh, come on, that wasn't even that funny. The Cliff Notes version of she crab soup it's basically crab bisque. Fresh crab meat, red orange roe from the female crab, which is why it's called she crab. Now I get it. And a splash of sherry. They always gotta put booze in it, don't they? It can be found on menus really all across South Carolina, which makes sense. I have never been to the Carolinas, and I have never heard of she crab soup, so everything checks out. It's time, ladies and gents, to go to South Dakota now with lefse, which is, I don't know, I guess it's like a sweet tortilla roll-up. And, I've actually had lefse before. My family, I think both of my parents' ancestors came from Scandinavia, so I don't know, one day for Christmas they're like, hey, let's make lefse, and I'm like, okay, more sweets for me, I guess. And if you don't know what lefse is, it's like a potato bread that's flattened, and it's normally spreaded with butter and sugar, and it's all rolled up, and it's pretty tasty, I'll give you that much. Hey, Nashville's in the name. Tennessee, it's the Nashville hot chicken sandwich. I mean, I've had the Nashville hot chicken before at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I don't think that was a good showcase of actual Nashville hot chicken. Normally, it's served on an open-faced slice of bread with pickles, and it looks mighty fine. I mean, I'm a huge foodie. I love, like, every single food. But, I went to Tennessee when I was really young on a road trip, and we never really had any hot chicken. Hey, it's kind of like Texas and Oklahoma teamed up on this. Oklahoma, you take steak. Texas will take brisket. And I'll tell you what, I'm a huge steak person, but brisket is just as good. I mean, I've been to so many different barbecue places around that kind of area, Kansas, Missouri. And I've had some pretty mighty fine brisket. I mean, that's kind of all there is to it. Wow, Rhode Island is looking so good right now. Fry sauce! Really, Utah? Fry sauce? I mean, okay, no disrespect to Utah. I love Utah. I want to go to Utah. Like, I want to try skiing. I want to go to Utah. That's it. But you know that there's not a lot of iconic dishes that represent your state when you have to settle for your most iconic dish being a condiment. But I mean, I'm looking at the picture here, which I know I've been saying a lot, but there's gotta be something more to this. I mean, it's like a completely different brand that, I've never seen in my neck of the woods. Let's do some research on this. Let's see, scroll. Okay, so let's see, there are a few better ways to enjoy french fries than with a side of fry sauce. See, already, something's hinky about this. It's not just any fry sauce. Consisting of ketchup, lemon juice, eggs, and some secret ingredients. Okay. So it's a conspiracy. Okay. Fry sauce tastes similar to, okay, Thousand Island dressing. So that's what it's like. It's like a Thousand Island. And many fast food joints across Utah, I guess, serve this. Especially Arctic Circle, which is a popular Midvale-based hamburger chain, and now I want to go there. This sounded very gross to me when I first heard about it, and it probably sounds very gross to most people who heard about it if you don't live in Vermont. Now, more and more I thought about it, it's really perfect. Sweet and savory, salty. It counterbalances everything, and I mean, come on, apple pie. It's like the symbol of America, to the point where apple pie is literally a metaphor for the grand US of A. Now, Vermont cheddar, they're mostly known for their maple syrup. So I wonder, like, how the cheese kind of gets into that. Maybe I don't know. I'm just shot in the dark here. Maybe somehow the syrup is incorporated into the apple pie, or maybe that would ruin it. Maybe I should go to Vermont and see for myself. Oh boy, the whole state of Virginia is gonna be mad at me after this one. I don't know how many times I can stress this enough on these two videos, because, I never really gave this any thought beforehand. I'm not a nut guy. I'm not into nuts. Why you gotta do this? More peanuts? You're gonna put more peanuts in stuff. How many times am I gonna have to talk about peanuts in these two videos? Peanut soup. Okay. Sounds like something out of, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. That sounds amazing. Let's look at the description. A mix of onion, celery, chicken stock, and peanut butter. Okay, so peanut butter. I mean, I like peanut butter. Already it's getting, like, a ton better just in that description. Let's see. Popular in Colonial Virginia. Its roots are African, but the version is served on Fridays at 1776 Log House Restaurant, which was, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I am very... I don't know. I'm very picky with my soups. There are soups that I like. There are soups that I hate. I hate lobster bisque. I like writing stand-up comedy, and I wrote a joke one time about lobster bisque saying, "Oh, lobster bisque is one of the easiest soups to make. You just vomit into a bowl and you serve it." I'm not saying that the soup tastes like that lobster bisque tastes like vomit, but it kind of looks like it. And I'm not gonna lie, peanut soup kind of looks like it too. That being said, so does clam chowder and potato chowder, and I love those the same. So I bet if you said if you don't, eat a bowl of Virginia peanut soup in front of me, I'm going to throw you off a cliff, I'd probably love it. I just need to go out and try some of these things. We're almost there. This video is way too long. Washington seafood chowder. We've seen stuff almost exactly like this in other stuff. I'm just gonna be blunt. It looks amazing. I've noticed that the USA is very soup heavy, and soup's good. Even peanut soup. Not lobster bisque, though. Country roads take me home to pepperoni rolls. Seriously, though, this is kind of ingenious. Think about it. Processed bread! Stuffed to the brim with processed meats! It's delicious, except... No, this is starting to look familiar. Where have we seen this before?
Hot Pockets, filled with pepperoni pizza or ham and cheese in a crispy pocket.
What are you gonna pick? Hot Pockets.
Like I've said 80 million times, my father came from Wisconsin, so I'm very opinionated on this. And now, I love me some cheese curds, but, I don't know, like, you can get cheese curds really anywhere. Like, it's... there's no state fair anywhere without cheese curds. So I'm thinking maybe they should have done bratwursts, cause you want the best cheese, you go to Wisconsin, but you're not gonna go to like Hawaii for a bratwurst. You're going to want to go to Wisconsin because I don't know. That's where here's the thing. You want to go to Wisconsin for if you want to go someplace that has the best beer, cheese, and I guess bratwursts. Go to Wisconsin, because just think about their sports teams. Their baseball team is the Brewers. Their football team is the Packers, which is short for Meat Packers, and they don't have a mascot, but they're like cheesehead thing. You know what I mean? Oh dear. Wyoming fried bread. When I think of fried bread, I think of, basically what the Southwest calls a donut. But I am apparently mistaken, because Wyoming fried bread, let's see what Food Network has to say about this. Inlander Dekagaihi Shoshone for the Eating House at Shoshone Rose Casino and Hotel gives guests a taste of the state's American Indian heritage via fry bread, a popular Indian taco dish. Okay, that sounds delicious. The platter is like a taco salad, but it features house-made fry bread instead of a taco shell. Okay, you have me. The fry bread serves as a palatable landing for cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and ground taco meat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the best description all day. We made it, and I'm gonna make this short and sweet because you guys need to watch. There are other videos you guys want to watch, and this one is one of the longest I've ever made. Jeez. Once again, I'm gonna have a gaming video coming up soon. Who knows? It might actually get uploaded before this. And I also have a Survivor video planned. Yes, because I'm not just a Big Brother fan. So, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.